Are we going? I think so.
We're live.
I think we're live. Hi everybody. Yeah, I didn't see the word live pop up because we haven't been live in a while. And this is Bleav in the Dallas Cowboys, and they sent me a new background to use, and you use it on this platform that I'm on right now, but I couldn't figure it out. But we're here, and I didn't see that we were live. Hi everybody, I'm Jeff. And he's former Cowboys wide receiver, Jesse Holley.
Oh, Jesse Holley went 77 yards. It must be a reality show.
And Jesse, the people are demanding you be held accountable.
Yeah, I know.
They're demanding you're held accountable for your prediction. See, I knew that the Cowboys were going to beat them by 100. That's why I picked them to win 24-23. Mm-hmm. But you are a hater.
No, I stand here, and I was wrong. I was wrong. Boy, was I wrong. Everything that I thought that was possible did not happen for Tampa Bay. None of it. Vita Vea wasn't as dominant. Devin White and Levante David wasn't as dominant. Tom Brady looked old, looked disheveled, looked flustered throughout multiple points in that game. And it was bad. And kudos to Kellen Moore. Kudos to Dak Prescott playing one of the best games of his career. Kudos to Dan Quinn for changing up the scheme and giving them different looks. It was if you just take out Brett Maher, that was one of the first games where I saw this team offensively and defensively play so well from start to finish all year long. They've had moments where one side is really dominated, the other side not so much, and vice versa. But there were two dominating performances led by, mind you, two of the most dominant players in their team. Had to be led by Micah Parsons, had to be led by Dak Prescott, and they both showed up and massively showed out in this football game. So I, Jesse Holley, I apologize for 2004. I was listening to Ruben Studdard before I came over here. This is what I'm sorry for 2004, and I ain't gonna earn more this year. I don't know if I might hurt you anymore this year, but I am sorry. I was wrong. I like my crow air fried.
Ooh, hell yeah.
Please. Yeah, a little air fried. Put a little that Tony, or that Tony, what's called? Whatever that Tony seasoning is.
Oh, Tony
Yeah. Put that on there, or a little Smack Your Mamas on there. Throw that thing in the air fryer, 380 for about 15 minutes. I apologize. I'm sorry, Cowboy Nation.
I put the Tony Shashashar on all my vegetables, and it makes them tolerable.
Yes.
They're no longer like vegetables. Now they taste good. Shout out to Formula in the super chat. Let's go. We hadn't been live in a while because I now have because somebody else asked, I feel like I haven't seen you a lot. Well, because I got a job again. I agreed to do radio again, so you can hear me on 97.1 The Freak and DFW from 7 to 11 a.m. And our station is live from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. So if Jesse and I do something at 1 or 2 or 3 o'clock, I don't want to go live up against my own employer. That is not smart. But if we do this at night, then I can hit the go live button. So shout out to Formula, who said party at Jeff's pool fund. Move Izzy to cornerback permanently. Oh, we will talk about Israel Mukwamu. Yeah. We will. But first, where'd my email go? I pay the bills. Y'all know what's happening. Our guys at Bet Online, your number one source for all your sports betting needs this season. Use promo code Bleav, BLEAV, and you'll receive a 50% welcome bonus where you can bet the whole house on the couch. Don't bet your whole house. Be responsible. But you could bet on the Cowboys playing against a 7th-round rookie quarterback if you wanted to. But Bet Online is your continued source for all sports wagering information. They got live betting, free contests, giveaways all season long. All the sports, they got you covered at Bet Online, where the game starts. Use the promo code Bleav. Jeff, don't flex. Jesse, don't sing. That's true. I don't have any muscles, but I am wearing my Under Armour cold gear because I had to play some volleyball earlier. Andrew says we accept your apology, Jesse.
Thank you.
That's nice of him.
Thank you.
Rodney's watching on Facebook. He said Schultz came out like Jason Witten. Yes, but let's go back to Formula's super chat because he's the one who is the reason that I can keep the lights on. we floated the idea. I think you and I talked about this when they couldn't find another corner, that if you're real desperate, Israel Mukuamu played corner at South Carolina, and then Dan Quinn picked him to be a safety. And they just reached the point where they were like, all right, none of you guys could play. Like, think about the last 3 weeks. The guys who they tried to get the opposite corner to be were Trayvon Mullen and Nashawn Wright. And then they got to the postseason and they were both inactive. That's how highly they thought of those two. And Dan Quinn just broke out the Mukwamu's going to play the slot about half the game. And son of a biscuit, if he didn't do it pretty well. He got away with penalty one time, but don't worry about that. They found a player that we floated the idea, but he just pulled it out of the bag. So shout out to Dan Quinn. I didn't know if they would do that or what we were going to see, but you got a little Xavier Rhodes, you got a little Mukwamu, you got a little Kelvin Joseph, and they made it work probably because I didn't realize the Cowboys defensive front was going to give the Tampa offensive line that sort of hell, but they did. So shout out to everybody defensively.
Yeah, and this is just another kind of tip of the cap to, or feather in his cap to Dan Quinn. He's been pulling these strings all year long. You know, starting with the Micah Parsons going to defensive end full time, and just being able to move guys around and give guys opportunities. And to their credit, you know, look at a guy who's been a journeyman across this league, and Jaron Kearse has come in and found a home here in Dallas. He's found a place now. He's solidified himself, I think, throughout this league as a bona fide starter, right? Not a guy who bounces around and plays special teams, but a guy who can play in that system. And it's always nice to be a guy like Jaron Kearse, because your defensive coordinator and the coaches underneath him will very soon take different jobs, right? So whether it's Joe Witt Jr., whether it's Durden, or whoever it is, Dan Quinn, Al Harris. And so what happens now is, because of your leadership, because of the way you practice, because of the way you play, you're always going to have a job. Whether Dan Quinn goes, hey, I'm a head coach over here, J-Rock Kearse is a free agent, bring him over here. Al Harris, bring him over here. Joe Witt Jr., bring him over here. So these are the type of plays that you want to make. And now take a guy like Israel Mukuamu, who is a Dan Quinn pick, 6'3", 6'4", rangy, long. He's not as stiff as a 6'4" corner would be. He can move a little bit. He has some flexibility, you know. And now guys like that find themselves in the National Football League for a long time, because that coaching tree now branches out, and coaches always want to bring guys in who know their system, who know how to come in and perform. And Israel Mukuamu came in. I said it on Twitter. I said that wasn't on my bingo board. I didn't have Israel Mukuamu coming in playing damn good football for the Cowboys, making some really good plays. His length was the one time he almost jumped up and grabbed the interception from Tom Brady. I mean, that type of stuff that you don't always take account for. So, you know, shout out to Dan Quinn, shout out to Israel Mukuamu for being ready when his moment was called, because that's a hell of a moment, right? Like, you don't really get snaps all year long, and then they go, hey, bro, so this week we're going out and play a divisional. We're going out and play in a wild card round against Tom Brady. And you about ready to go? Yeah, sure. All right, we're giving you the go. Let's go. Let's just go with it. Let's just go with it. And you know that it means something to be a player and step up in that moment. And Israel did that. So kudos to him and everyone else involved.
Yeah, he got the talk from Dan where he's like, hey, I know you've been our 4th or 5th safety, and you've been running down on kickoff. Are you ready to play nickel corner? And he's like, oh, yeah, sure, no problem. Got some super chats formula. So impressed with Dak and proud for him. Look at MG and TY making plays. Yeah, Gallup had a 3rd and 6, I think, slant. TY had a 3rd and 8 that he converted. Jason, I remember when Mukuamu was drafted, when Jerry talked to him, he said, you got the best corner in the draft. Any reason we could think this would work as a permanent switch? Maybe. I'm so scared of 6'4" corners. For a day it worked, but I'm so scared of 6'4" corners. I feel like when you go up against a 5'11" receiver, you're about to be put in a freaking blender. But Quinn mixed it up. They mixed up who was playing and who was playing where. I would love it if it turned out that Izzy could be a starting NFL corner and then Bland could play the slot, maybe, even though Mukuamu was playing the slot. We're going to figure it out as we go, okay? Because they ran out of bodies, and we're going to keep figuring it out. Vance, in my Richard Sherman voice, don't you ever compare my QB with average QBs. like Cousins or Carr. Who's he talking to?
I don't know. Wasn't me.
Samuel, how will Dan Quinn stop the 21 personnel? Worried, haven't seen anyone slow that down. We're not going to San Francisco yet, Samuel. Damn it. We're not going to San Francisco yet. San Francisco is a Thursday or Friday situation. The answer to how you're going to slow it down is you are going to let the 7th round rookie quarterback make about 2 F-ups, and they're going to have to come out of 21 personnel to try to score some points. That's the hope. But yeah, offensively, loved that getting Tyler Biadasz back, and we talked about this too, where for me it was sort of a hope where you're like, man, this offensive line hadn't been able to run block in 3 weeks. What in the hell is going on? Pass protection good. Run blocking, I would say okay. And Tony Pollard can make you right if you give him a chance. He'll make you right, which is why one of the running backs averaged 5 yards a carry and one of them averaged under 3. But I don't want to do that today.
But here's the thing. Tony Pollard is going to make you right more often than not when you don't run him between the tackles. When you don't run him in the A-gaps, right? Like when you get Tony Pollard on the edges and allow that zone run to kind of develop, he has the speed, the agility to put that foot in the ground and get up the field right now. He's not lugging. He's not like, no, he's like, and he's going. And that's what you have to have, because these holes open up so quick. The term for when you're a running back is slow to fast through. And the other running back for the Cowboys is slow to, slow through, slow some more. And that's no knock against him, but that's where he's at in his career. And for an offensive line who does not sustain blocks for a long period of time, you need for that guy that's running the football, when that hole opens up, he needs to be through it and be through it right now. Now, not now, but damn it, right now. And that's what Tony Pollard gives you. And Kellen Moore, shout out to Kellen Moore. I thought he called a masterful game plan. There was 8 different receivers who got targeted. They took the profit right in front of them. They were throwing the ball right to the tight end and to the guys and the crossing routes, and they were sitting down over the ball and wasn't trying to force balls down the field. Like the profitable things that they should have been doing before and not trying to get home runs and knockout blows every single play were there before in the past. They just was overlooking them or calling 4 verts on 3rd and 7, stuff like that. But instead of doing that before, they were doing it the right way. And Tony Pollard helped that cause up front. And getting a guy like Tyler Biadasz back, I think settled the offensive line. Kind of got some guys back in their natural positions, and it settled it, and it allowed for it to flourish in a way that I didn't think it was going to flourish in that way. But it did enough. It wasn't a dominating run game, but it did enough to make you respect the run game. It did enough to keep you ahead of the chains. And when you had to go and ice the game out, once the game was iced out for a long time, you were able to do so.
Yeah, they iced it out when CD caught the touchdown.
Yeah.
With 3 or 4 minutes left in the 3rd quarter. Antoine says, props to Jesse for being the only DFW media person to say I was wrong. Shout out to my fellow Jersey guy. Don't give Jesse props.
No, I'm an honorable and admirable guy. When I'm wrong, I'm wrong. Oh, but I'm right though.
Another guy that is being mentioned a decent amount, and it's 2 things that I think are 100% right that we're seeing in the chat, whether you're on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch. What up, everybody? One, yeah, I agree with everybody who's talking about Trayvon Diggs. He wasn't real interested in tackling people last night.
Don't pay him to tackle.
I'll tell you what, come Sunday at 5:30, he better be ready to tackle, because San Francisco will make you tackle. Yeah. I promise. And the other one was, and we talked about this, we're smart. We're smart. Leighton Vander Esch coming back was huge. Anthony Barr and Damone Clark have struggles, consistently doing all the things, shedding blocks, getting it right in coverage. And Leighton Vander Esch, for all of his career arc, which has been really interesting, they needed him back.
People want to tell me that I'm wrong, and I'm totally fine with sitting here and eating crow. I really am. Shout out to my guy, Justin Hewitt from Hillside, New Jersey. Shout out to you guys, my other guy, Antoine from Newark, New Jersey. Whoever the other guy is that's saying that I was wrong all year, you're a liar. I was not wrong all year. I've been pretty right all year, and I'm not a hater. Eric Griffin. But, here's the thing, Jeff Cavanaugh.
What?
We as media members, right, we have to come out and people want our opinions, our thoughts, our breakdowns, all of those things, right? And our words are publicly documented. And people let us know all the time. But you fans, you fans. See, y'all get to say whatever you want. Y'all get to keep y'all little tidbits to yourself. And nobody accounts for those. But I am old enough to remember when a lot of you, a whole hell of a lot of you, wanted Leighton Vander Esch gone. You didn't want him to get the 1-year deal. You didn't want him to be a part of this football team. You wanted him so far gone from the Cowboys. Now you were so happy to get him back. And now all of a sudden there's this abundance of praise for Leighton Vander Esch from some of you who you know who you are. You'll have to walk by the mirror tonight in the bathroom when you're taking your late night pee-pee and look yourself in the mirror and you know that you were the ones in the barbershop, at the bar, in the garage, at the cookout, talking to your homies about, man, we need to get rid of Leighton Vander Esch. He sucks. He's slow. He did that. And all y'all did now was cheer him on. All I'm saying is be real with yourselves, because a lot of y'all want to tell us that when we're wrong and when we're out of pocket, but you don't be honest with yourself. And I know a lot of you, because you've been on my Twitter for the last couple of years telling me how we need to get rid of Leighton Vander Esch, how we need to give guys like Damone Clark and Jabril Cox and other guys like that more opportunities. So don't you guys get on the LVE bandwagon now, you bastards.
I do love that we have a couple of people in the chat who are like, that's me, but owning it. That's important. Owning it. Hell, I was one of them. Leighton, last year coming into the year, Leighton kind of looked fat, out of shape. It's all weird. And now suddenly he's playing real well. And yes, Dak was incredible. Shout out to Dak. Vance, Jesse should at least dine in style, so he should have some crow brulee.
Ooh, I'll take it.
Look at that. That'd be great. Jesse, somebody point out that Jesse does owe me a steak dinner still.
I do.
Just Venmo me $13.99. I'll just go scoop it up at Kroger. Mike, what kind of input do you guys think McCarthy has on the offensive game plan, hands off or got more involved in this game? I don't know, but I know that's another dude that people need to. Quinn, Kellen, McCarthy, Dak. Like, that's the head of the list of, man, we were all worried going in this game. I thought they were going to win the game, but I was worried going into that game. I didn't think they were going to piece it back together in that sort of a hurry. And Jesse, you can speak to this better than I can, because one of the things about the Cowboys this year and over the last 3 years with Mike McCarthy is I think this happens to a lot of people. You have your defensive coordinator, you have your offensive coordinator. Kellen Moore calls the plays on offense. Dan Quinn calls the plays on defense. So people go, what does Mike McCarthy do? And he kind of looks like this gruff, kind of, out of shape, kind of. And so like everybody just assumes that Mike McCarthy's stupid and doesn't do anything or doesn't know what he's doing. And I'm sitting here going, do you guys like winning 12 games a year or not? So like you might not know the day-to-day process of what he does, but the idea that McCarthy should be fired and they should be in the market for a head coach, I'm like, you were just a game away from having the bye, and 5 games were started by Cooper Rush. So do I know on a day-to-day basis what McCarthy does? I don't. But everybody who thinks you can do so much better all those different ways, you don't either. So like something he's doing is good.
It's 50. It's like 30, 33, 33, 33. It's like 33.3, 33.3, 33.3. There's 33% of the people who look at Mike McCarthy and they didn't like it from the start, right? They didn't like the pick from the start. And so every little thing that they do, and you watch across these games in the playoffs, regular season, there are other coaches who have, game management issues. It ain't just Mike McCarthy. They all have it. We just so happen to watch this team more closely than we do everybody else. Then there's another third who are like, you know what? Mike's my guy. That we're rolling with him. And then there's the other 33% that says the tantalizing name excites you. It's this thought process of, but if we had Sean Payton, and honestly, a lot of those people could not tell you what Sean Payton does that makes it so different from what Mike McCarthy does. I mean, besides if there's one thing that I got upset about Mike McCarthy was I thought when he came in, he should have stuck to his guns and been the play caller. I thought he kind of he kind of,
he might not have had that option.
I know, but I wanted him
He's
to
like,
push
yes,
back.
I'll take that job.
I want him to push back a little bit more, on that situation of saying, you know what, I've been doing this for a lot longer than the kid has. Go ahead, we'll coach him up. We'll get him right. But let me be the guy who calls these plays. But you're absolutely right. You talk about, minus the COVID year, it's tough to win 12 games in the National Football League. It really is. And each and every year, look across the league of these teams who are trading coaches in and out for, every 2-3 years. You lose that continuity. A new guy comes in. The draft class doesn't work anymore. He has a different thought philosophy. He has a different approach to guys. He has a different approach to what guys should look like. Long guys, short guys, tall guys, thick guys, fast guys, strong guys. So these are all the things. So now you want to have a little bit of – now, I don't think you want to go down the road where you're saying, all right, we're going to do 10 years of Jason Garrett nonsense. But I do think you give a guy an opportunity to kind of get a draft class in here, get some guys into the system, and let it flourish. Now, I do have a little bit of an issue when it comes to Kellen Moore because he glitches far too much for me. And the biggest problem is that I think Dak is good enough to overcome some of the glitches that Kellen Moore may have. But when Dak's having a bad day and Kellen's having a bad day, you get commander football. Like that, you know what I'm saying? Like you can't have them both glitching at the same time. One can only glitch at the same time. Like it has to be either Dak's glitching and Kellen Moore's getting him out of it, or Kellen Moore's glitching and Dak's getting them out of it. But I mean, for the most part, your two coaches, really, your Dan Quinn and Mike McCarthy, those are two of the best in the business. And the Cowboys should be really, 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 really lucky to have them because you might be losing one of them very soon.
Okay, speaking of losing people, David said, I was pissed about McCarthy lying about analytics. He doesn't lie. The Cowboys are an aggressive team. I think McCarthy absolutely knows the numbers and plays to it.
And David, you probably lied on a job application before too. You weren't qualified. You didn't have all the years of experience.
No, he lied about watching all the plays.
Yeah, he lied about that.
That's different. I mean, if you watched a bunch of them, you feel like you watched them all. I study the draft. You know how many games I watch from a player? 2 to 3 until I feel like I got him. But if you were going to hire me, I'd be like, yeah, I saw all his plays because I'm still going to tell you what the player did. I got him. I'm good. One other guy that I want to shout out is Tyler Smith. Going out there and playing left guard. Jason Peters got hurt. He slid out to left tackle, and he was able to play well at both of those positions. So salute to you. You badass. Good job. And I'm trying to think because I had one other one that I forgot. I mean, so many guys on defense. Jaron Kearse played great. Mukwamu, Diggs, Parsons, obviously. Tom Brady, Micah Parsons had, I forgot if it was 8 or 9. Those are the most pressures that any one player had put on Tom Brady in 5 years. And I don't remember who got credit for the sack between him and Dorrance Armstrong. Probably depends on what website you looked at. But Micah Parsons was in Tom Brady's kitchen. San Francisco's line is better than that. But
I believe that they gave Micah Parsons, they came back later on and gave Micah Parsons that sack.
That's nice of them.
Yeah.
He deserved it. Damn it.
Yes.
You do enough work. You deserve it.
Did he look fresher to you, though? He looks fresh to me.
Like Micah?
Yeah, he didn't look this like he looked like he had a recharge.
I think that Micah is like he's not one of us.
No.
And I think he got to the playoffs and it's just like it he's the Wolverine. Like it doesn't matter what hurts. He's like, no, it's playoffs. I'm good. Like I don't know. Because he was good all year. But you didn't see the same every play. Like, I'm going to rush the passer, beat the left tackle, and then you're going to throw a screen. I'm going to run that dude down. Like, I'm still good at rushing the passer, but it wasn't quite the same. And he was a terror again. That was badass. And I think all his body parts are hurt. At every play, it's something.
Except his wee-wee. That works.
That's a weird thing to say.
That one works.
Great.
He's cranking them babies out over there, boy.
Oh yeah, he just had another one. Yeah, good.
Yeah. He's like 23. He's like going kid 3 over there.
Yeah,
he's
Tom Brady's daddy now too.
He's like the lion boy. He runs around that pack. And lays it down.
Easy, dude.
I'm just saying.
Easy.
He does.
See, TMI, but somebody else said that's funny on the wee. Anything before we get out of here, Jesse? Oh, Jesse, by the way, is out here saving the damn world. Where are you right now? What are you doing?
I am in Cartagena, Colombia. I'm on a missions trip. We do a medical, dental, and we do a mental medical trip here for the poor people for the less fortunate people here in Cartagena. You know how I am about charity. I give back in the States. I give back abroad. And this is also a place where I've started my sports clinic. I did it last year, and I get a chance to teach underprivileged kids in the barrios of Cartagena and the surrounding cities of Cartagena football Americano. And I enjoy doing it, and I have a great time doing it. So I get a chance to take the gift that God has given me and to stretch it across the globe.
Well, that is badass. So good job. You're a good man. We appreciate it. The people in the chat are going to appreciate it. Even the ones who get mad at you all the time. Damn it. Get it together, people. All right. Well, this was presented by.
We didn't talk enough about Dak. I think we didn't talk enough about Dak. I think he needs more love. I think Dak needs more love.
That's from you. I give him love every week. Dak's a badass. He just happened to play one of his best games ever on a giant stage against Tom Brady, who the Cowboys have never beat, on the road. And he dropped dimes to a wide receiver core that's full of meh. And Dalton Schultz and Dak Prescott's a badass. I don't know. I mean, if you had something more than that.
No, I just wanted to say, I just wanted him to get some love.
Yeah, I guess I didn't spend enough time talking about how badass he is. Great job. Hey, do it again. I dare you. Do it again. Thank you to David in the super chat. He said, just for what you're doing. Okay, make sure I have to divide that one up. 10 for Jesse, 0 for Jeff. And remember, you have no idea what anyone is going through, so be cool to everyone. We love you. Goodbye.
Eliminate the contingencies.